Oh, Bill.
Yes, Bill.
Come on out here.
Hello, boys and girls.
I'm Bill.
And I'm Bill.
And together we're Bill and Bill.
Two birds of a feather coming to your school. Gonna show you all about what gentlemen do. When you're not quite sure how you feel, ask Bill and Bill.
Say, Bill.
Yes, Bill.
Would you like to join my gentleman's club?
You know I would, Bill.
Woo! Woo! Welcome to Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous. My name is Tom, and I'm a fantasy sports addict.
And my name is Ryan.
Howdy, Ryan.
And I, too, am a fantasy sports addict. Cheers,
Right,
cheers.
Cheers, cheers. That's right. Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous is back again for another podcast. And, well, this is, I guess, the Veterans Day edition. We'll call it that, you know. That's our news. We're going to give a shout out to the veterans for Veterans Day. We had a lot of new subscribers last few weeks, some of whom are veterans serving overseas. So we thank you for your service. Happy Veterans Day. We'll have a pint
again.
in your honor. Yes, thank you. And while we're doing the shout outs, let's give a shout out to our buddy Cubby Knoll. James, he's good enough to hit the donate button on YouTube. If you want yourself a shout out, you know, you can do that. You can do the same thing. Hit that donate button, buy Ryan a beer, buy me some coffee, or you always buy a t-shirt, you know, all that stuff. There's good ways to get shout outs. Also, leave a podcast review on iTunes. We like that. So,
Absolutely.
Yep, podcast 68. Here we go, Ryan. Woo!
Oh, speaking of, we actually did sell a couple more shirts, but if you buy a shirt, like, we can see that we have one get bought, but we don't necessarily know who bought it because it's all through Amazon. So if you bought a shirt, just take a picture of yourself in it and tweet us at FS, the word double, the letter A, at FS double A.
Or you could post it on the website somewhere on the message board.
Either way, we like that.
Yeah, we like to know you got your shirt and you're enjoying it. I enjoy mine. I have several. I enjoy them both. And yes, I had to get a size up, Ryan. I've gotten a little fat lately. That's the news I'm going to share.
All right. Well, we're getting old. It happens.
Right. Yes. I've been, well, yes. I'm fat now, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, Tom, you're getting
Cultivating
fat.
mass. Cultivating mass. That's what I'm doing. I'm cultivating mass.
And
you're
just
fat
one
now
other
too,
thing.
by the way.
I'm getting there. Yes, I'm not saying I'm not.
You ate a lot of
Heck,
pies
I'm
this
getting
weekend. You ate a lot of
All right,
pies.
I
Porky
ate a
pig.
lot of pies. 108 pies to be exact.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the pie bet video for the Cubs World Series bet that Ryan and I had between ourselves, go check that out. It's 8 minutes of mayhem. Ryan just getting hit in the face over and over. He dodged a few. I didn't like how you dodged a few, but you're like,
I was slipping. You were throwing them bad anyways. Like some of these pies, you could see me where like at one point I was like catching them and like diving into them.
Well, here's the difference. Each pie was differently weighted, differently loaded, has a different aerodynamic, you know, so it was, but when you're actually ducking and dodging, you can see it in the video. I'm not the only one that noticed it. I was throwing them, you're dodging them. So they would have been more direct hits, but you were actually dodging.
I got plenty of direct hits, and I ate way too much goddamn shaving cream.
Now, did you have any digestive issues the next day? How was your stomach the next day? Because that was a lot.
I don't want to talk about it.
Was it that bad?
It was a rough day. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. See, yeah, when you eat that much shaving cream, you almost maybe should have just gone and made yourself throw up at that point. Good Lord. You did eat a lot of shaving cream. But hey, you know what? Props to you for actually following through. Not that I doubted it. I would have followed through myself. You were very much depressed and disappointed that you weren't the one that was pieing me, but
yeah, I did really want to pie you.
I didn't care that much about pieing you. It wasn't. I mean, I had a little fun with it, but it wasn't like. I just enjoy that you're always wrong. That's enough for me. You know, and it's funny because when I'm always, you know, fantasy Satan and I'm always like trying to be cool guy, kind of ironic that I just didn't really have that much joy out of pieing you 108 times.
I don't know. I saw a pretty goddamn big smile on your face while you were pieing me.
Well, it's just generally what we were doing was cool, and you were entertaining. You entertained me. That was why I was smiling. I think it would have been more impactful maybe if we had Cubby Knowles do it in January when he's possibly in Phoenix. That might have been more entertaining.
But we needed to strike while it was hot. I mean, again, I just lost.
That's true.
Weight.
Yeah, nobody's going to be paying attention at that point. But so we got that out of the way. I still owe you a few pies. We'll get to that at some point. Yeah. Maybe in the year-end wrap-up show. But today, we're what?
Anyway,
we're 2 weeks in.
I just want to say, if you haven't seen the pie video yet, go watch it and share it because it's not getting nearly enough views for someone getting hit over and over and over again with pies.
108 pies, folks. And go watch it. Well, you dodged a few, so it's not quite 108. You might have dodged about 8. So it's only 100, so I'll just make up for it somewhere. I'll sneak an extra 8 in to make up for it.
We'll just get the turkey baster pie tins where it's just like one giant one.
Ooh, yeah. A baby pool size pie?
Yeah.
Nice. We'll have to lift it.
That's the only way where we can go from now after doing 108. It's just got to be like bigger pies. I don't know.
Like we fill an above ground pool with shaving cream and you just have to fall into it. That'd be pretty goddamn great.
A lot of shaving cream.
That is a lot. We'd have to somehow mix it or create it ourselves, I think. Oh god.
All right, one last piece of news.
There's more news?
Yeah, we forgot to mention that Andrew from Fantasy Aid, he's wanting to do a MLB way too early mock draft on Fantrax where it'll be an actual league, but he'll end up just deleting it after the draft. So
okay, I heard two things. Draft.
Woo! Somebody did say draft.
But I also heard the word Fantrax. So as much I went from erect to flaccid pretty quickly there. That was Fantrax. But it's gonna get deleted. And it's just I like their draft. I do like the draft app for in the draft window for Fantrax. So I can do a mock draft.
Does really good drafts. They do.
So they're just our mock draft slut then.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can mock draft any sport we want year round on Fantrax.
And that's great. They got a great draft. Yeah, we don't have to keep the league because the day-to-day shit on Fantrax is just god awful.
Oh, so we're just gonna turn her into a mock draft whore then.
Right.
There we go. Fantrax, our dirty mock draft whore. So this is going to be a way too early preseason baseball.
I'm looking forward to it.
Now, do we have a definitive time or date for this? Because now, if you haven't, again, check out Andrew's YouTube channel. He's always doing baseball stuff. At Fantasy Aid 1 is his Twitter handle. Check him out. But yeah, Fantasy Aid, check him out. Andrew's our buddy. He's always got great baseball content.
Absolutely, and it's not our mock draft. It's Andrew's. We're just trying to get addicts or people interested that want to be in it. But I think
still too early for us.
Yeah, I think Andrew was saying it's going to be like the weekend after Thanksgiving.
All right, but if you're interested, come by the website fantasysportsaddicts.com or hit him up on Twitter at FantasyAid1. It's going to be posted on the message board. Andrew will be handing out links, and we'll be talking about it more in the coming weeks, I'm sure, as we get closer to it. But way too early baseball? I suppose so. I'd like to get I don't know, whatever, fine, why not? There's already people doing their dynasty drafts for next year on Fantrax, apparently. JD, I'm looking in your direction.
True addicts, 30 teams, slow draft.
Maniacs.
Oh my goodness.
That's disgusting. Apparently, he keeps trading down in the draft, and he's still getting the players he wants, no matter what. So apparently, JD's just working the league.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, I can't.
But hey, Tom.
Yeah.
Knock knock.
Oh no. Oh, who is it?
Questions and answers, biatch.
Woo! Wait, Q&A's back. The Q&A segment has returned.
Q&As have returned, so we're about to A some Q's.
All right, and Q some A's. All right. So let's all right. So what do you got? What do you got for me? Because we're like 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks into the basketball season now. And is it time to talk early season trades? Is that what we've got here in the mailbag or whatever the fuck you call it?
Yeah, we've actually been getting quite a few trade questions and starting to see more and more offers ourselves. And like now's I think the point of the season where you kind of know what your team is. You got some weaknesses or some strengths, just whatever. Like it's trading season or the beginning of trading season.
All right, I'm a little further behind you, I guess. I don't know if I'm totally ready to start wheeling and dealing, but there's always merit to early trades. We'll get into that. But so yeah, everybody's like, okay, I've feel like I've got these like weak spots on my team, or it looks like I do. The waiver wire is not rich with talent yet, you know.
Yeah.
So let's see what's going on. All
right.
There's business.
So our first question is actually just off of our YouTube live chat for our podcast.
Thanks for hanging out.
It's from Adrian Benjamins. What up, guys? Would you trade Serge Ibaka for a bag of Cheetos? He sucks.
I'd still be patient and hold. I don't know. I mean, Are you like trading him for a bag of Cheetos? Or are you holding him and like not happy? I'm holding him here.
Yeah, no, I'm holding him too. I mean, Orlando, they fucking suck. Like they don't even know what the hell they're doing. You know,
they went out of their way to bring him in. So what's the, you know what I mean? Like this is too early to like totally fly off the handle about
There's just a whole front court issue with Biyombo and Vucevic and Gordon. Like really, like I don't know. They just made some fucking really questionable offseason moves.
Right. There's no firm
but it's just
situation.
It's just kind of funny that like Serge Ibaka. Like I actually just got a trade offer in the FSAA Dynasty where Gray Phoenix was trying to get CJ McCollum and Otto Porter off me for Ibaka and Will Barton, which isn't even close. But again, he's trying to get rid of Ibaka. That's
wait. So you wanted McCollum off you for Ibaka and
Will Barton plus Otto Porter. I want to talk about a little bit later when it comes to like the players to target or sell high.
Okay. I might look at that Ibaka trade, though, if that's going on in the league, and I'm in it. I'm holding Ibaka. I mean, I've got him in the all-world team. His percentages are fine. He's still getting you a few blocks. Like, the rebounds aren't there. The points aren't there, especially when you got used to him being the last few years in Oklahoma where his points went up. Like, the rebounds dropped after a while. The points went up, you know? More threes and stuff.
So, Tom, would you consider Ibaka maybe even a buy low target? I mean, again, if the going price is a fucking bag of Cheetos, like...
Yeah, if somebody's really only wants a bag of Cheetos for Ibaka, oh, yeah. I'll give him a bag of Cheetos. Here's a bag of Cheetos, and yeah, he's going to suck the rest of the year. But if I own Ibaka, I'm not hitting the panic button yet. I'm going to hold. I'm still being patient because, again, we have a total of, 7 games played maybe? No, it's more than that, I guess, but 8 total for Orlando. So 8 games, and he's not doing a whole lot. He's had a couple of bigger games, but
his percentage is good. He's getting you almost a 13 points, 5 rebounds, and a block with only a 0.5 turnover. So, like, yeah.
He's just not, he's not getting a lot of minutes.
Those are the bottom. They're going to go up. He's getting 28, but yeah, he should be around 32, 33.
Right.
So I'm not getting... No. Maybe, yeah, buy low if you can get him cheaper.
So yeah, if you own him, hold him. Don't let somebody sell you short. I mean, maybe if you have like a guy that's like a sell high candidate, package him with Ibaka and get like, something similarly valued to Ibaka, like going into the season value kind of thing. You know what I'm saying, Ryan?
Yeah.
Like if you really don't believe in Ibaka, take one of your sell highs, package them, and then then get something that's like a known quantity or you trust, roughly the same value.
Okay.
All right, another question.
All right, let's get some more questions. Oh yeah,
how many
got more
you got?
questions?
I'm excited.
All right, so this one's from Tyler Yuckets, aka
Buckets.
T Buckets.
What's up, Buckets?
Right. And so, hey guys, I'm the guy you were talking to about the Anthony Davis.
I hope you did.
What do you know? What do you know? A few weeks into fantasy basketball season, and a GM accepted his offer. He sent AD plus Ish Smith for Whiteside and Collison. Now he goes on and does a little bit of explanations. He says he likes this trade in particular because first I'm getting rid of a guy that could possibly be shut down or come down with an injury, which is Anthony Davis. And I also get rid of a point guard that is trending down in Ish Smith and will likely be irrelevant when R-Jax returns. I like Collison in this trade because he will most likely start over Ty Lawson and then has very big fantasy upside. Tell me what you think of this trade, and do you think there will be a possibility it might get vetoed?
Well, I'm guessing it won't get vetoed because, well,
it shouldn't get vetoed.
It shouldn't get vetoed. I mean, I just assume most trade. I mean, but I don't like it for 1 second. I would never make that trade myself. All right, I know how Collison can sometimes be good, but I don't like the Kings at all, and I don't like. I mean, I guess at that point you have to ask yourself: do you trust Collison essentially over Anthony Davis? Because all right, so Whiteside for Davis, maybe that's a break even. But like the whole Ish Smith Collison, I can't move Anthony Davis. I can't. I won't. I simply will not. I mean, I don't care what you're offering me. Like, I think this is probably a good year that you could hope for a full season.
Well, I tried to reply on this comment, but I did it for my phone, and for whatever reason, it wouldn't post my response.
Yeah, sometimes our account locks up and we can't post responses to the YouTube comments. So if you ever get that where we don't respond, that might be one of the cases. We can reload until it's post.
We've had addicts also give their opinions. So, like, if you guys see these comments, like, feel free. This is a community. Like, Tom and I, we're just addicts, and we're not experts.
Right. Well, this is just our opinion,
Yeah.
And you get a bunch of
your opinion, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You get a bunch of opinions from a bunch of different men or women, right? Being PC. You get a bunch of different opinions, you get that group consensus. That's the whole idea of the community, right? That's what we're all about.
Absolutely. And so Anthony Davis, he kind of reminds me of Steph Curry a few years ago when there's still ankle issues and injury concerns.
Yep.
And then what happened? He became the best player in fantasy basketball. So this can easily be the case with Anthony Davis, growing into his basketball body, figuring shit out, like
playing more responsibly, whatever it is, keeping himself more conditioned. He really
so T Buckets, you can end up looking like a goddamn genius in this trade if Anthony Davis does get hurt, or you can come out like not looking so great, like.
It's not an outright loss. It's not an outright loss. I mean,
I'm a big Whiteside fan. I'm a big Whiteside fan, but if it came down to it, like, why didn't you just not draft Anthony Davis? If you're gonna feel comfortable taking anybody in the first round, you shouldn't be looking to trade him because you're scared and upset that you drafted him.
Yeah, I got Anthony Davis later in drafts this year, and I did cartwheels because it's like, all right, finally he's not the number one player anymore, not ranked number one. And he's still got that potential. That's the idea of players in the top 10 or top 12 first round, is that they could put up number one numbers in theory. Like that's the idea. That's their upside. But Davis, you're getting kind of cheap.
Well, so maybe you can try to trade for Davis. Like if people are scared of the injury and looking to possibly get rid of him.
No, nobody's getting rid of Anthony Davis. I don't think anybody's getting rid of Anthony Davis. I mean, if there's somebody out there in their league or in your league that's like, oh, I'm nervous about Anthony Davis, capitalize. But I can't see anybody, especially with some of the games he's had already this season. I can't see anybody selling him.
Well, which is why I'm surprised that traded him, especially
after the first few games.
And getting Whiteside, like you should have gone for Durant.
Right. I mean, the first 5 games weren't enough for you to be like, nope, I'm holding. I get that there's fear of an injury, but he's never even really missed that much time. You know, I mean, it's not like he's missed like full seasons, entire halves of seasons. We're talking about 20 games on the high end a couple of years, maybe 1 year. I think I think it's a little overblown, and it reminds me, like you said, of Steph Curry. And I washed my hands of Steph Curry years and years ago when he was young and, first coming into the league. I thought the potential was amazing. But, oh, man, he's always blowing out his ankles. Like, I was like, what's this kid just always got flat tires? And I still have never drafted Steph Curry again, and it's to my own loss, some people just don't trust, maybe T-Buckets got burned 1 year in the playoffs or something like that. And he really needed Anthony Davis and Davis wasn't there for him. And it's just one of those things, unwilling to draft players that have burned you in the past. It's a tough tightrope to walk, honestly.
Yeah. See, Rice is even saying 60 games of what Davis is doing now, he wouldn't trade him.
Right.
It's just a matter of whether or not he's going to be healthy in the playoffs. That's the only concern that you have.
And even if he's not, that's one more roster spot you have to play with and stream and hopefully make a player acquisition somewhere down the line. You go with, whatever gets you there, as long as you're there, you can win. Okay. As long as you're there in the playoffs, win at any cost at that point. So, if you lose Anthony Davis in the playoffs, you lose Anthony Davis, play more aggressively.
Okay. Daniel Wynn, he's saying he traded K-Love and Bojan Bogdanovic for Hood and Jabari. 5 out of 6 people said he lost. He felt like he improved his team a lot.
So he traded. All right, let's go through this again. He got Jabari Parker, and he got
Rodney Hood.
Rodney Hood for
K-Love and Bojan.
I love that trade.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean just
all right. We got a breakout season from Parker. We got Rodney Hood, doing Rodney Hood, and probably a breakout for Rodney Hood, I guess. I don't know if last year counted as a breakout or not, but
Hood can be a sell high candidate. He's doing awesome this year, and you got him. But honestly, Hood and Jabari, Bojan Bogdanovic, whatever, he's fucking waiver wire fire. You drop him when you're streaming in the playoffs.
Right, but he's still having a good season. He's still getting a lot more run in Brooklyn. And he's one of my favorites. I do like Bojan, but again, there's no allegiance to that. I love that.
I think Parker's breaking out.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is that it's because he traded Kevin Love, but Parker's having such a massive breakout this year. I mean, I'm really excited about owning Jabari Parker in our Dynasty League. So,
right. We really don't recommend trading the best player in most trades.
Unless you're getting the upside coming back.
Yes.
Right?
I mean, again, just the difference between, Hood or Bojan for, or Jabari is greater than what you're losing.
Yeah.
So good trade, Daniel.
I think, yeah. Is that our buddy Daniel Wynn?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We haven't seen him in a while. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's get to another question.
All right. Hit me.
This is from Boom King.
Boom King.
This is a good question for you.
All right.
He's trading away Markieff and JaMychal for Kevin Love. So another Kevin Love trade.
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I like JaMychal Green a lot. But I mean, again, if it's Dynasty, I still don't have a problem with it in Dynasty either. I think I'm okay with that trade in all formats because you're still getting the best player available. As much as I like JaMychal Green, kind of up and coming, and have him in Dynasty, I don't see him having this ultra massive upside. Excuse me, my soul's coming out. Like one of these ultra massive upsides. Like I think K-Love has higher upside than either of the players he gave up. And I don't love Kevin Love, obviously. I have Kevin Hate. I'm kind of Kevin Hate, actually. But just on paper, I like that trade. Plenty fine in all formats.
And if you don't know, we hate Markeith. Like he's up there with like Robert Horry. And
you'll notice,
like,
yeah, I didn't even mention him in the.
Yeah.
I don't even count him as even being in that trade. To me, that's just like, I don't care what. Is he even doing anything this year? I don't know. He probably is. I don't give a shit because
I don't know. He just does not exist. Like we skim right over his name in the box score.
If he was like ranked top 50 and I accidentally like auto drafted a team and he was on my team, I'd still drop him to find something else on the waiver wire. That's how bad I hate him. So
yeah.
Screw the fucking Morai twins.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. That's so. Yeah. Good job with that.
Easy enough question there.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have any JaMychal? Do you have any JaMychal?
I got a couple actually.
All right. Let's put him on the list for either like buy low, sell high. We'll talk about him as a trade something.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So one last question, unless we get a couple more on our YouTube chat. But anyways, this is from Wall MVP, so John Wall fan.
If he keeps getting ejected, I don't even think he's going to finish the season, right? Doesn't he? He's going to get suspended.
And he's asking if he should trade Hayward and Rajon for Melo.
Gordon Hayward and Rajon Rondo for Melo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I'm glad Hayward's back, especially on the Billy Hoyle team.
Yeah, that's good. Honestly, no. You're more of a Melo fan than I am. Like, I think Melo blows. So does Sonic. So does Boom King.
Okay.
Like Melo was on my bus, my do not draft list player, and so that also includes do not trade for.
Well, Rondo's like unowned in a couple of our leagues right now. I mean, I think Rondo's unowned. I think Rondo's unowned in like one of our dynasty leagues, dude.
What?
I'm not kidding. So, I mean, if Rondo's like unowned in leagues we're in, I guess it just depends on how your team's set up. I mean, I don't really have a problem with that trade.
He's owned in all of my leagues, at least on my main account.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe
because if he wasn't, I was going to be adding him right now.
Well, I was going to say it's in some league.
I have him in 3 or 4 of the dynasty leagues.
Okay. It could have been a waiver claim. I don't know. It's something I saw this week, last few days when I was making roster moves myself. But again, Rondo never fits my team.
Yeah, but he always fits my team.
Well, that's what I was saying. I mean, I guess, excuse me, if Rondo's droppable for some people, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Hayward's got kind of an injury history. I wouldn't say he's a complete injury risk or injury bust, but he's got a history of little nagging things here and there. Does he not? Not that Melo doesn't. I mean, if you're like looking for some roster consolidation, I think that's a fairly break-even trade. I don't know. I mean, there's more upside with Gordon Hayward, obviously, if he's healthy the rest of the season.
I think Hayward and Melo are pretty goddamn even. In fact, I'd probably even rather have Hayward over Melo and then just having Rondo on top of it.
Well, but think about like roster consolidation or being able to make moves. I don't know what the league settings are or what the league setup is.
Right. I mean, that's obviously going to have an impact on what we think about some of these is who's out there that's going to replace the player that, like Rondo for that.
Right. And I don't even know what his whole team is. I don't have a problem with that trade depending on what this. Now, if like, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what his team is. That's the problem. In a vacuum, no, I don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem with it either. I just think Melo blows, and I don't like Melo, and I'm not trading for him. But I wouldn't vote against that trade happening. I wouldn't really even bat an eye. It's like, okay.
Right. All right. Oh, bark.
Oh my, hold up.
Wait, how are we? You're going to stop a podcast and answer the door?
No, I'm just going to mute my microphone if the pugs get too goddamn crazy.
Okay, I thought we're like answering. Was there a pizza there? What's going on? We got some lunch coming in? All right, Ryan muted his mic. I guess I don't know what's going on there. It's dog apocalypse. The pugs are going crazy. I don't have any access to the YouTube chat, and I don't know what we were supposed to talk about next. I'm just going to start talking about some trades that I have seen come across. Oh, are you back, Ryan?
I'm back. I just had to yell at the pugs and throw something at them.
Oh, good.
If you guys don't know, my wife runs a business from the home, so we have UPS drivers like coming multiple times a day.
Thank you, Bronson. I'm glad you're taking a shower.
But yes, so you said you're going to talk about some.
Well, did we have any more questions?
Trades you've seen? Any last minute questions? Nothing going on in our.
All right, I wasn't
sure. Chat. No,
I wasn't sure if you had anything else.
Nah.
Okay, well that's fine. That's good. Let's talk about some trades we've already seen happen. We've seen a few trades in like a couple of our leagues, like the FSAA leagues. We've seen a couple in our home dynasty leagues. There haven't been a lot of trades outright.
No,
but let's see.
Starting to see more and more offers.
People are sending offers. I got a couple offers in the Billy Hoyle team, but they're trades I wouldn't mind making. But Billy Hoyle team, so I've actually had to explain.
And it looks like we lost Tom. So, anyways, fuck. I hope this podcast just didn't get dicked. I'm going to just try to carry it for a minute. Sorry, Tom was talking about a trade offer that he couldn't take because he had the Billy Hoyle team. So, he can't get a player that isn't white.
Right.
Now, Tom, are you back?
I am back.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I closed the wrong fucking thing. I clicked my screen too fast and I'm doing too many keyboard commands at once, so I kind of fucked that up. Begging my pardons. I'm glad you held it. But yeah, so I couldn't make any trades in that league. I actually saw a few that I liked. And I was like, oh, wow, that's actually like, you know what I mean? I was like, wow, that's a respectable offer. I love that. In a public league, when you see something that's like not like a slap in your face or like wasting your fucking time, and you get this offer that's actually like, hey, that looks good. I would do that even with the team, but I can't because it's a theme team. It's a theme team. Now
and you can't.
Right. Yes, I can't make that break the theme. I already broke the theme technically, I've heard. So let's talk about trades we've already seen. Okay. Whoa, here we go. Bronson has done a few trades in our leagues so far.
Okay.
He's actually had a pretty good showing so far this year. Like I think I've liked a lot of things that Bronson has done. In baseball, he's a little slapsticky, but he's done well in basketball so far this year. So there was a great trade consummated over the weekend with J Money, our executive producer, and that's Justin, in case you didn't know. And Bronson, of course. And Bronson has been trying to get rid of Blake Griffin in our home dynasty league for a long time. And
okay.
I mean, again, Blake Griffin, I don't know. I think Blake Griffin gets a little more disliked than he's owed. I like that his percentages don't hurt you terribly. He gets good points, decent rebounds, and assists. Where you're not getting steals and blocks, maybe you're getting assists, which is nice if you have a team like mine. Or most of mine, where there's not a lot of point guard options.
Okay.
But so he got, Bronson got rid of his Blake Griffin, and he had a Sergio Rodriguez, which obviously wouldn't be kept in a rebuild dynasty situation. So he got Elfrid Payton, Brandon Ingram, and a first-round pick, which I think is an excellent trade. I think that's an excellent trade for both managers. J Money is not looking to like spend years in the tank. He's not like wanting to rebuild for 9 centuries. Bronson's like, I want 85 years worth of first-round picks. Bronson's doing it his way. But he got Ingram. So he's got the Simmons-Ingram combo plus a first-round pick. And I don't know if J Money's going to be able to get out of the tank necessarily that quickly. Although he's currently in second place. He's currently in second place. So he may already be out.
It's J Money. Of course he is.
Okay, so he got this team out of, he took over our buddy Malcor's team. It was just a trash team. It just needed some love, a little aggressive management, and now it's got that. And he was able to take some great foundation work, some great, because like Malcor laid a good foundation there. He had some options for J Money to work. And so, the groundwork's there. And Bronson was able to get, a first-round pick next year and Brandon Ingram. So like that's really the key piece there. Elfrid Payton. Payton's kind of a wild card. I think you like Payton more than I do.
Yes, I do. I like Payton quite a bit, actually.
Okay. Again, good dynasty piece, but really the thing there is the Ingram to me.
Brandon Ingram,
yeah, because he's got Simmons Ingram now. That's a sexy combo.
1-2 combo.
Yeah, if you're trying to rebuild,
for a rebuild dynasty, that's pretty goddamn awesome.
That was like me with Wiggins and Parker a couple years ago. So Bronson, good pairing there. I think that was pretty smart choice to make. And excuse me, I got that's that That's that throat cancer. Been eating too much something. Great trade for both managers though. Bronson says he's protesting the podcast. He's going to get in the middle of traffic and block traffic.
Whatever.
He's protesting. He's protesting the podcast. Because we didn't have him on. Well, he's not the co-host, so that's why he's not on. Now, what else is going on? I know Bronson's trying to move Kyrie Irving in my league. He traded Joel Embiid and what was it?
In your league, let me take a look.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but he traded Joel Embiid and another piece for Kyrie Irving. And just at this point, he's banging his head on the desk, just like, why did I trade Joel Embiid?
I can't believe he traded Joel Embiid.
Well, he got Joel Embiid from my team. I made a pretty nice overpayment for Miles Turner. Aaron Gordon, Emmanuel Mudiay, and Joel Embiid for Miles Turner. I had some roster consolidation to do, and I also had a favor owed to Bronson. A little repayment for some backstabbing earlier. Accidental trade rape, whatever you call it. Whatever. I always take care of people on the back end. I'll overpay when I have to. But anywho, right? I got my Miles Turner. I'm excited about that. But for whatever reason, Bronson, the makeup piece was Embiid. Embiid and Gordon right there is like, okay, you move Miles Turner. Wow, now you got a net gain there. But then he turns around for no reason and moves Embiid for Kyrie.
And he got Winslow as well.
That's right. Okay. Well, all right, fine. Winslow, that's nice. But in Embiid, you gave up the centerpiece for moving Turner. Why? So this is where, when we're talking about early season trades, this is the point I want to make with this. You got to be careful with early season trades. There is such a thing as like overactive management. There is such a thing as like tinkering too much.
Overreacting.
Right. There's no reason to sell from a position of weakness. There's no reason, especially when Bronson made that trade in a dynasty league, he should have sat back. to see a few games out of Embiid first. And if he was still holding Embiid, he could have basically said, look, I want anything. If somebody comes after me for Embiid, I want the moon,
Yeah, absolutely.
So there, as much as, there is sensibility, like the trade he made just a few days ago with J Money, that was a good trade. It is dynasty, but that's the kind of trade I think makes sense. Something that works for both teams. Either way, dynasty
Definitely.
or redraft. Those are the kind of trades you want to make early, where it's like, okay, nobody's really overpaying or underpaying. It's sort of a break even. But like Bronson, where he's like, I don't know what, so you can make trades too early. You can be a little too aggressive. I think that was the case of that right there. That was, I
just wish I could have known that Embiid was going to get fucking flipped again, and I would have. I don't know.
Well, nobody can pry Embiid loose in your league. In your home dynasty league, Embiid's just like, he's not going anywhere. Booker's not going. There's a couple players that, as much as you want them, there's nothing you can offer.
Yeah, again, Embiid and Booker, I think, are probably like two most upside, untouchable players.
I would say at least two of the most. They're in the top 10 of untouchable dynasty players, I would say. Players you don't trade. Or players
right.
Maybe – you know what? The only exception for that would be is if you traded one for the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
which is in the FSAA dynasty, I'd actually offered Embiid for Booker.
Right.
Which I still might actually even do, and especially now that I got Drummond and Jordan.
Right. You're not married to Embiid necessarily. And also Embiid can shoot free throws better than your other players.
Yeah.
But how do you give up on the dream shake,
Just, again, being a homer and loving Booker.
Yeah, well, it's true. Again, he's had a couple 30-point games already this season. And so those are that's a break-even trade, if you're doing untouchable for untouchable. That's a conversation piece.
All right, I think after this podcast, I might re-offer that because my team has changed again.
All right, now who was it that had Devin Booker in the FSAA dynasty?
I forget. I wanted to say AJ, but that might not be the case.
Well, we'll have to go back and look. We will have to go back and look.
All right, I'll look now.
Okay. Tell us who it is.
Dun, dun, dun. Sorry, I got slow internet, but it's going.
Okay. I'm very excited though for the home dynasties. My teams they're not. You know what happened? I was trying to counter your punting strategy team, but along the way I wasn't able to get all the pieces I needed. So I've almost got a punting strategy team that counters yours, but isn't. You know what I mean? It's not as well rounded as I would have wanted. So I'm essentially punting like assists, steals, and like threes. But
you went with the front court heavy team to match my bigs.
Right. But the idea was that they were going to be well rounded, and I was going to round out the rest of the team with more of my roto style. But the problem is, I've never been able to get enough point guards and 3-point guards. 3-point guys like swingmen and shooting guards, that kind of thing. I haven't been able to get enough of those types of players along the way. And a lot of the like young big men that I've gotten, like maybe an Anthony Davis or Carl, they've become so good that I can't trade them. They might, if Towns had not developed this rapidly, he might have been a trade chip. But at this point, I can't trade Towns. I can't trade Anthony Davis. I probably can't trade Miles Turner now. Wiggins. It's nice that Wiggins and Jabari Parker are coming around, but they're still not what I'm looking for. I've been waiting for point guards forever. So this team's out of the tank. It's several years out of the tank at this point, but I'm still waiting for that. I needed a Chris Dunn or a Wade Baldwin maybe in this year's draft, and I doubt I'm going to be able to get something similar in next year's draft.
Right.
So but now I'm rolling with this like it's a similar style of punting, but just contrary to your punting.
Well, there's more than one way to punt.
I get that. Yeah. Well, yeah. But so I'm like, instead of being like, I mean, it's a more restrictive 5-4 or 6-3 victory than I was hoping for. I was hoping to be able to compete in every category, but I can't touch steals or threes, especially.
Well, looks like you got to make some trades.
No, I don't have any trades to make. I'm good. I'm sitting back.
See, that's the thing too with some trades. Some managers just don't like to make trades.
Well, when you have no reason to make trades, why are you? That's my question. I mean, if you really don't have a reason, do you have to?
No, then that's the thing. So there are managers that just make trades to make trades. Like they're the hyper aggressive and like they'll win some, but they'll definitely lose some too.
Right.
You know, it's just that hyper aggressive short sightedness. Like again, it goes back to dude dropping Buddy Hield in a dynasty league.
How did that happen? Who did that? That was AJ.
That was AJ.
Some guy. Where was everybody else in this league? Ah! Somebody dropped Buddy Hield in the dynasty league, and Ryan out-wavered me on it, and whoops. No, all right. So my big trade, I'll talk about that for a second because we were talking about, do I need to make a trade with my teams? Where I have this massive front court. Okay, I got like Jabari Parker, Anthony Davis, Miles Turner, Marcin Gortat, Karl Anthony Towns, Jonas Valanciunas, DeMarcus Cousins, Dwight Powell, and JaMychal Green. That's like big portion of my team. It's all bigs. Like the only guards I really have are like Jeff Teague and Andrew Wiggins for the most part. And I need some guards, but like, originally prior to the start of the season, remember you were offering Nikolai Jokic, or no, it was not Jokic.
Schroeder.
Well, no, you were offering
Schroeder and Nurkic.
Were you offering Schroeder and Nurkic for what? For Turner?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, well, okay, so Turner was originally the piece that I thought, okay, maybe I can move him, but I can't move Turner now. Like, how do I move Turner? Honestly, like I was talking about moving Turner for Kyrie Irving. Kyrie fits my team. I've been after Kyrie for years. I would rather have Turner than Kyrie right now. And maybe long-term forever. I don't know. I mean, look at those blocks and the fucking percentages. My God.
My God.
4 blocks, 3 blocks, 3 blocks, 2 blocks, 4 blocks, 2 blocks. Like, I mean, rebounding numbers could be higher, but they're playing them, somewhat short minutes. There's a lot of mouths to feed in Indiana. They're sort of sorting that out. He's young. They're not pushing him too hard. But, like, when you got a core of, like, Anthony Davis, Miles Turner, Karl Anthony Towns, and then DeMarcus Cousins, ooh, yeah.
I don't know. It still sounds like you need to make some moves and get more well-rounded.
Well, I might get well-rounded, but this is the strength that counters your strength. This is like now I just hope some of these guys don't start dying like in baseball. I had to get more ace pitchers than you did, and then some of them died.
But yeah, that happens apparently on your teams.
People die. Hopefully it's more like a Gortat that dies. Not that I want Gortat to die. But like if it was what?
Quit talking about people dying.
Well, my players always die in baseball. I'm sorry. I have a morbid problem. It's not my fault. I don't kill them myself. I'm not saying, hey, go do some coke and get really drunk on your boat and ram it into a pile of rocks. Like I certainly don't want that for my team. Hey. No, but I'm like, Parker, Wiggins finally showing, like, oh man, I just all these offers. It's like when you were sending, well, all right, your offer that you were overpaying. So my Turner for Kyrie, I feel like is an overpay now. I won't do that straight up anymore. You were offering, who was it? Evan Fournier and Vucevic. Not Vucevic. Fuck. What's the other itch? Nurkic. There's so many itchy guys in the NBA now. Itchy. We call him Itchy now.
Well, yeah, I was trying to consolidate because the keeper deadline was coming up, and so yeah, I ended up dropping Reggie Jackson, but I was really trying hard, and I was basically trying to just give Nurkic away.
Right.
It's like the sweetener to make the deal work.
And you won't do that now.
No, I have no reason to do it now. I'll come deal with that next fucking off season.
Exactly.
Or at least try to. I don't know why like fucking dumbasses are keeping shit they shouldn't be keeping. And like here I am giving them a fucking great trade on a goddamn platter, and they still won't fucking do it.
Trust me, I know that, especially in your league. It's a little easier to make deals in my league, but now, is there anybody you're looking at in any particular leagues? Obviously, you mentioned Devin Booker. What kind of trades are you looking to make right about now? Depending on, whichever league. Mention a league. You got a league you like, you're making a trade in, or?
Well, there was the one where I tried to make the trade. I was trying to trade CP3, and this is kind of one of those things where dynasty leagues, older players just have crazy different values.
All right, that was a question we got. About dynasty players' values.
Okay, yeah.
Remember veterans?
Right, yeah. So just what are veteran values or trade values for older players in dynasty leagues?
Well, that's a good question because it varies by team. It's hard to tell.
I went all in last year and like the year before. Like this is like the 8th year of this league, so it's been going on forever. Okay. And I went all in, and I feel my window has closed, but I still have a lot of like old players. Like even last year, I had Kobe and Duncan, and just my team. The window's closed, so I'm trying to like move some vets and try to get younger players.
All right.
So I offered Sergio Rodriguez, Chris Paul, Pau Gasol, and Dirk Nowitzki for Devin Booker, Alex Len, Dante Exum, Bobby Portis, and his first-round pick.
I think that was a bit of a stretch.
But again, this was just opening discussions.
All right.
Like just trying to get conversations. I mean, really, what it comes down to is Chris Paul and Devin Booker, and like, I don't know. I value first-round picks less than other people.
Okay.
I'll just wait until I can fucking add Buddy Hield off of the fucking waiver wire.
Right.
But anyways, this guy came back. Oh, you can't be serious. Dirk and Sergio are valueless. They are done after this year. So that means I'm moving 4 guys for Paul, and he turns 33, and Gasol at 36. Plus, I'm giving my first picks. I'm not remotely interested.
All right. Well, I can see that he won't make that trade at all. I get that. I wouldn't make that trade. But when you respond like that, that's just automatically like fucking up any value you have. Like if you had a chance to make it, like don't even if you don't like the trade and you are genuinely offended by the offer, it's usually better, especially in a dynasty league where you're gonna have to play with these managers for a couple of years. It's better not to like take a shit on them on the message board or in a response, because like you always want to keep the offer. You want to keep that option open later. Maybe it's not the trade now, right? But later you think, hey, well, he did want so and so.
You should know that better than anyone else about not fucking.
No, I don't. I don't blow up people's shit. I don't, I don't respond negatively to trade offers for the most part because, again, somebody that is willing to trade, there's not a lot of people that are willing to trade in a lot of leagues. You want to keep that window of opportunity open as long as you can, if you can.
Right.
So, ooh. All right, I think I know who I want to go after now.
Who's that?
I'm not going to tell you yet. But
okay.
But yeah, all right. So, I mean, did you try to even like counter or rework the deal with this guy? Because
No, I didn't, just because of the fucking message that he fucking left me.
well, it was a little bit of an aggressive ask on your part, especially given Dynasty. But I mean, again, I get both sides of it. Like, you're offering known quantities that are good. So if he wants to get rid of some youth and win now,
like, I was trying to help him like win a championship. Like, CP3 is like still a fucking top player.
exactly, he is on his way out dynasty wise, but for the next few years at least, he should still have good value. There's not a lot. We were talking about this on our own. There are not a lot of like right now, the lead assist players in the NBA are not point guards. Well, sort of point guards. I mean, I guess you can count what's his name, the beard, James Harden, is a point guard now officially.
Yeah,
right. Like Harden's leading the league in assists, and so there's not a lot of point guard, true assist type, players anymore. Plus,
and especially in a league that assist to turnover ratio is a stat on top of assists.
okay, he's also getting you pretty elite steals still, good percentages. Mm-hmm. So you can't totally take a shit on Chris Paul. So I'd see like, I mean, I don't know, like Chris. It just depends. I mean, you almost needed to like lead in and like just ask and be like, are you trying to win now? Or are you like playing this super dynasty? Like, because you don't know. That's the problem in dynasty leagues, is you don't necessarily know how somebody is viewing their team. I mean, they might be playing it both ways.
That's just the thing with veterans, is there's people just value them so fucking drastically different.
And it's hard. I mean, that's why you almost have to open with some just honest dialogue. Just, are you interested in any of these players? Are you looking to win now?
That's another thing that we say when we try to do trades, where like, you got that little leave a comment, like get some dialogue going. Maybe even like send someone an email before you even send out an offer.
I usually do that. I usually try to get an email conversation going. Just, hey, do you have, any interest in some of these veterans if I'm trying to move veterans? Or just, you just gauge their opinion. You just got to keep the dialogue open. And even if it doesn't even if it doesn't lead to a trade, I always like to have that dialogue with managers. You know this. I always talk to like pretty much all of our managers in these leagues. And it's because I like to know
fucking hands and everything.
Well, I like to have my ear to the ground. I like to know who needs what, who's looking for what, who's willing to do what. And it's better business, it's a better way to like, so maybe I missed the trade with this guy this time, but I know what he needs. I know, so there's it's more information to work with. That's why a lot of times, even if you don't come to a trade agreement, at least you keep the bridge from burning down. You got to keep that dialogue open, because even in, this guy's situation, maybe he doesn't want what you're offering, but he knows you are willing to make trades. There's a lot of times people aren't even willing to make trades at all. So, somebody is willing to make trades. You keep that relationship good. You keep it strong, like, well, I'm still waiting. He could have blown you off with something like, well, it's too early in the season and I just want to see what I have first. I mean, that's fine. That's polite. It's not really beneficial to you, but it still is good management on his part. And it leaves, it doesn't put a bad taste in your mouth. So when he comes back to you, maybe a couple weeks later, you're like, all right, and then you guys can come back together on something, find something somewhere in the middle. It just keeps the dialogue open. That's probably the most important thing about trades, no matter what time of the year. Just always have the dialogue box open if you can. And so
absolutely
responding like, well, fuck you, you're an asshole for even sending it. Now you're not, now if he comes back later thinking like, well, Ryan wanted to trade, you're going to be like, get bent,
To a certain extent.
Well,
again, I got thicker skin where something like that's not going to make me not want to trade with someone. Like, that wasn't that bad. And like, honestly, like, I wasn't too surprised that it got turned down. And like, yeah, I was serious to start, but like, it's not like he insulted me on a personal level.
Well, I tell you what, if dude in your league comes back to me asking about Miles Turner for Kyrie again this year, based on the message board transaction a few weeks ago, nope. And that ship sailed a long time ago anyways. I mean, I'd rather have Turner than Kyrie at this point. So I mean, again, that's why you don't like act like a fucking spastic asshole and flame somebody, even if the trade is that offensive, right? Especially in Dynasty.
Well, that's
hold your tongue.
It's another tip. Like, try not to lead out with these fucking bullshit trade offers.
Like you did?
Like, like I do? Fuck you, Tom.
Well, that was what you did. That's why
that
wasn't
wasn't a bullshit trade offer.
Well, to him it was, and I would have been like, what the fuck is this guy sending me? I wouldn't have liked it if I got it. I would have been like, what the shit?
I mean, CP3 wouldn't have even sparked your goddamn
No,
interest.
but it depends on the team. If he's got a team full of veterans similar to yours already, and it's more competitive than yours, I could see it making interest. But if he's got a team where it's somewhere in the middle of the pack, and he's more interested in long term, I could see him being like, get the fuck out of town. So it's knowing your audience partially. I don't know your audience. You didn't tell me that. You didn't set us up with that. But I could see if he was in a situation like myself or maybe Bronson, somebody rebuilding, I'm in the middle of the pack in our dynasty leagues where it's like I'm sort of like,
I wouldn't
coming,
have
not going.
that. I wouldn't have offered it to a rebuilding team. I was targeting players who I think this trade, I'm just trying to help push them over to the top.
I get that, but there's a lot of people you could be literally showing them like, you know, the gate to heaven. They'd do a U-turn and go somewhere else. That was just a weird example, but I think you literally like, I mean, some people you can't help, and he's probably playing it both ways where he's like, well, I've got some good for now and I've got some good for later. That's probably the situation. But he could have just said, look, I'm trying to balance my team between youth and veterans. Right? And you could have gone from there.
Right.
But I don't, again.
Either way, just keeping dialogue open. You got to, try to make trades. Just don't be an asshole. Make your, leave comments, send emails. And yeah, if you don't get a trade right now, maybe you come back around a little later on in the year.
That's why I always try to have pleasant banter, pleasant dialogue.
Yeah.
And again, if you're not going to make a trade with that manager, maybe that information of knowing what that manager wants can help you get a trade with somebody else. You tip them off like, hey, you got this extra such and such. So-and-so is looking for that such and such, but I'm also looking for you know what I mean? You could just play people against each other.
I don't like the idea of playing against each other.
Well, you can play people. You can play people against each other. You can play people you could play matchmaker. There's a lot of different strategies when you have that kind of conversation level with the managers in your league, right? Like I always try to approach trades in a situation that's like, we've always said this, make sure it's beneficial for all parties. That's the simple thing. I mean, that's really the only way to get anything good done. And
yeah,
I mean, sometimes that's marketing. You can sell the trade a little harder. Some people are susceptible to being sold on a trade. Other people are not, right? But
absolutely.
Always be hustling. That's my always be closing. I don't know.
Yeah. ABCs, ABH. I don't know.
Whatever the fuck. Well, let's talk about some buy low, sell high candidates here.
Okay.
Because we've talked about players we're looking at, players we might trade. I've talked about players I can't trade now that have sort of shown me
trades we've seen. We've given a little tips to trades, all that stuff.
Yeah, if you've seen any crazy trades, always feel free to chime in on the YouTube comments. We'll try to get to those. Ryan, keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I'm there.
Or if you have questions. But I want to talk about my number one, buy low, sell high, keep, hold, whatever player I want to talk about is the pencil.
Okay.
I want to talk about Harrison Barnes because I think I did a lot of mock draft Harrison Barnes, but I have almost no actual Harrison Barnes. And I don't think I have any actual Harrison Barnes. Remember how I had him in a lot of mocks.
You were real high on the pencil.
I was. I had him in a lot of mocks, but I don't think I ended up taking him in any leagues. I mean, right on my main account, I see none. And I'm pretty sure he's not on any of my side accounts. So let's talk about the pencil. I mean, he's putting up real nice points. Not a whole lot in the way of counting stats. Hang on, let me get to that here. Let me pull that up. So he's averaging about 22.5 points a game, 6 rebounds, right?
Right.
And pretty much decent percentages, but nothing almost in the way of steals and blocks. Low turnovers for that many points. But he's getting you points and rebounds and good percentages. He's a four category contribution guy.
Well, I think Dirk being out has actually helped him a lot and will help him for the long-term years. Just I don't think he has that personality to come into a new team and be that alpha dog, especially on an elite team where you got Dirk, where it's obviously his team. But now that Dirk's out, he gets to like play loose and show what he can do.
Okay. What do you feel about this? I mean, how do you feel? Because I still don't know how I feel about him. I mean, I think to me, he's a sell high candidate. I just, I mean, basically it's like percentages and points and rebounds. He gets you some threes, but nothing like earth shattering.
So what's he ranked right now?
He's putting up top 40 numbers. He's ranked, I think, in Yahoo like 33rd overall at the moment.
Okay.
And you didn't pay that much to get him, obviously. You had to pay a little bit to get him because there was kind of like, oh, Harrison Barnes starting role.
But not nearly that high.
No, I don't think we expected that. Now, like you said, Dirk influences that, but when Dirk comes back, do you think Barnes is similar?
I mean, he'll take a hit, but like I was trying to say, that the fact that he's shown that he's capable of putting up these numbers and all this is going to help him with that team dynamic, so that when Dirk does come back, he'll still get higher usage rate than he was start the year.
All right. So if you own him, are you holding or selling or? What
I'd listen to offers for him. I think he makes a pretty good sell high.
Yeah, he's more of a sell high than a hold for me.
And I don't think I'm gonna like go off and target him.
No, absolutely not. Not for me. But if you can package him or you can move him, across the boards to get something else that's like overperforming, I don't know. I'd probably do that. By something else, I mean another player, but.
Right.
All right. Why don't you throw somebody out here?
All right. Just a couple buy lows.
Okay.
Oladipo.
All right.
Again, his numbers haven't been all that fucking great, and again, Westbrook is just kind of doing his Westbrook thing. But this is also another situation where I think him getting used to a new team and playing next to a player like Westbrook.
Okay.
I think that takes time, and I see the better they get playing with each other, the better his numbers will do. And so I still like Depot as a trade target.
All right. So you'll still go after him, and you're trying to get him below value if you can, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the whole point of trying to buy low. I just think maybe Depot is a player that you can buy low.
You think you get him? Well, that's what I was asking. Do you think you can actually get him below value, or are you gonna have to pay equivalent value? That's what I was asking. Obviously, buy low means you don't pay as much.
I think you can get them for a little bit of a discount, especially if you're able to kind of sell and like, oh yeah, Westbrook's hurting his value and he's never gonna,
So again, throw the salesmanship factor into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you're able to sell high and on a player, like ideally you can sell high to buy low.
Right. That makes sense.
Yes.
All right. All right. Beyond Oladipo, you said you had a couple.
Well, what's a podcast where we don't talk about jock itch?
Oh man, is your jock itch? My jock itches.
I mean, it's just we got to talk about jock itch. Again, we were talking about how way too aggressively ranked, shouldn't have been drafted where he was.
Right.
Again, it's looking more and more likely like he's Rudy Gobert 2.0.
Well, I mean, if you were able to pair him with Nurkic, I mean, they're nice handcuffs. That's you almost have to have the two of them, like Everett did in the Dynasty League. If you have both of them, right, you're fine. What it's I mean, ideally they'd be playing, equal minutes or something like that, or at least.
But it just seems like their values and stats have kind of like swapped, where Nurkic is the player, the better value, but Jokic was the one that was higher ranked.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess if you handcuffed or paired them, you're doing okay.
Maybe you could, I don't know, you could like offer Jokic and Nurkic, package them for a trade, move them for like, what do you think, Whiteside, Anthony Davis, something like that, maybe Towns? Might be a bit of an over. I don't know. Is that an overpay?
I was still thinking, I mean, a little bit of a stretch.
Trying to sell them both?
No, well, to be able to get a Towns.
Okay. Well, I mean, again,
Like,
Towns hasn't been like lights out good.
Number one player, right?
Right.
But he's still Towns.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe just Towns with the name value, but I don't know. Maybe a Whiteside. Is that a stretch?
No.
Okay. So you could handcuff them, move them both. That might be a trade option. All right.
Yeah.
So Jokic, you're saying like just try to sell for any value you have left, or what?
Well, no, Jokic's just trying to buy him for, somewhere around that like 60, 75 ranked player.
Okay. Get him a little lower.
Yeah.
Hoping for more playing time and more consistent production.
Well, I mean, again, I think that's kind of the value he'll give, but I like him there.
If you need a center ranked around that value.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Again, understanding the circumstances. Every trade is contingent upon the circumstances of your team and your league, obviously. Right? Every league is different. Every team is different. All right. Any more? You said, is it just the two, or?
Well, we got J Money saying Jeff Teague and Justice Winslow's are buy low.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of Teague, actually. You guys know I always have a lot of Teague.
Right.
And I wasn't worried. A lot of people were hitting the panic button on Teague early. I was not. I don't have, I know what Teague is. I know how he rolls.
It seems like all of our players are like on new teams this year. Like, because we talked about Ibaka earlier, Depot, now Teague.
Well, that's the thing, is it's so early. Like when we talk about early trades, this is why, I mean, maybe any of these like buy lows, they're probably more than anything if you own them a hold candidate, because we're talking about less than 10 games played, less than a tenth of the season. And these are players who have great pedigrees, or good pedigrees, if nothing else, adjusting to new surroundings and new coaching and new systems. And, 10 games might be the point where we're starting to see some, cohesion, like lineup sticking, things like that. Like I think like Teague's a definite candidate for that. I think the idea of buying low on Teague is probably, that ship's sailing rapidly. I mean, what was it, 30 points last night? I mean, I forgot what he did. Yeah, he did like 30 and 8. I forget what it was. It was a pretty nice game last night. Let me go back and look because I got him here.
And that's also another just kind of tip I want to point out when it comes to like trying to buy low, sell high. Like, again, it's always that, what have you done for me lately? And then like click on like the Yahoo blurbs. If they're kind of like talking shit about a player, then that's a good
that's the time to go
buy low. But if they're pumping them up and like talking really good, because let's say someone is even like remotely interested, they're gonna click on the little news blurb and like read what the fucking Yahoo or ESPN or whoever is saying about them.
And they're going to be like,
So
wait a minute,
obviously you
keep him. I can't.
don't want to. You don't want to try to trade a player when it's just like they're shitting all over him. Oh, better options on the waiver wire bullshit.
That's
Like,
I mean,
so
all right,
wait until they've had a couple good games before you try to make the trade.
Right. Now, I'm not trading Teague. I'm holding Teague because, again, look, we talk about the recency bias. Last night, he was about 63% from the field, 90% from the free throw line. 1 3-pointer, could have been more, but 30 points, 2 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, a block, 1 turnover. That's pretty goddamn great game. Now, that's not the time to go try to buy low on a player like Teague, because a lot of people who drafted Teague were probably hoping he was going to have, like, not necessarily a renaissance or a rebirth, but they're probably expecting better than last year and new surroundings. And this might be the birth of the new surround, or the, not just the, I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, this is probably where he's finally starting to get comfortable with his new teammates and new system. And so,
and
30-9.
Another buy low guy, I think, is Clay, even though I think that window is closing quickly too, because he had a huge game as well. And
yeah, Clay was good.
Percentages are starting to come back up, but there was a lot of talk where it was like, oh, KD is going to affect Clay. I mean, again, I was talking about that shit at the beginning of the year too.
Well, we talked about who was going to take the biggest step back, right?
Right.
Of the
Warriors.
Right. So Clay initially looked like, but I think that's going to ebb and flow as the season goes on.
I do too.
So it's not going to be consistent. There's going to be nights where, like, KD's on the bench or not doing a whole lot, or Curry's not doing as much.
Well, or
Clay will
there's
be
a
picking
night
it
where
up,
Curry's hitting fucking 13 3-pointers and
right. And nobody else is doing nothing.
right.
Right. Yeah, there's just so many scoring options. So yeah, Clay I still think is, but see, that's the thing is, I don't know. Clay, I don't know if he's buy low. Like, I think Clay might have been overranked a little bit. Maybe.
So you think
I'd call him a sell. I might call him a sell high, but I don't know if I would though. I'd probably hold him. I
don't think you can call him as a sell high because, again, not until the value starts to get a little hotter.
Well, try to recoup his value. Because I don't know if I trust that value the rest of the season. Like, we're just talking about the ebb and flow.
That's why I'm talking about Clay being an option to target and trades, because there's a lot of other managers like you who's like, I don't know.
Well, all right. I mean, my skepticism might be your ticket to the fantasy championship. That's very possible. But I still, again, I'm still calling him a hold. But I mean, yeah, if you got somebody that's a little less, I'm more ambivalent where I'm like, well, I better hold because I paid so much. Somebody else might not be like that. They'd be like, yeah, let me get something else good.
Yeah.
Oh, the pencil? Hell yeah, give me the pencil. Right.
Right. Something like that.
All right.
Let's go ahead and talk about some players who we think are good sell high candidates.
Okay. Probably Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe's looked pretty good. I don't trust his knees.
So you're trying to sell high on Bledsoe due to his injury risk.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know how I feel about Bledsoe. I don't know. You know how I feel about the Suns team and what they should do with it, but
I like Bledsoe, but I agree. I'm just concerned about his injury risk at this point because I've had too much Bledsoe in years past.
But at the same time, I would probably, like, if somebody's like nervous like me where I'm selling him, I see the merit in trying to get him. Because maybe he is healthy this whole year. I don't personally believe he will be. I think he's just damaged goods from here on out. Like, he'll have his moments of good, but, like, think about Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon's been largely healthy for the most part last few years, but, like, with the knees and stuff.
He's still not even close to the same player he was before his injuries.
No, and that's why I'm making the similar, the double error comparison there, just because I don't know, just the knees. I mean, I hate to see him suck because we're Suns fans, but I wish they'd maybe try to trade him. Maybe they still will. Maybe they can trade for like something. I don't know.
I know. I understand, Tom.
I've got the bias. Sorry, it's a bias. That's a bias thing. I'll throw my bias out in this. We're talking fantasy trades, not Suns trades, right?
Right. One player who I want to talk about is Otto Porter.
All right.
Again, Otto Porter fucking went off last night. You're not a big Porter fan. Like, I don't think you have. Because I know when I took him in the Fresh FSAA Dynasty Leagues, you're like, I don't know how I feel about Porter.
I don't despise him, but that's the thing is I was ambivalent. I sort of didn't. I didn't know. I don't know how I feel about Otto. That was what I meant. I don't know how I feel.
Okay. So just last night, he put a stomping on Boston.
What was his stat line?
38 minutes, 73% field goal, 100% free throws, 3 3-pointers, 34 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks, and no turnovers.
Good Lord.
Like, I mean, that's up there on that fucking Anthony Davis stat line and fucking, game 1 or game 2?
Yeah, those are monster stats. I mean, it's not 50 points or nothing, but that's a nice stat line.
Right. Yeah, it's not Anthony Davis. Right now, Yahoo has him ranked as 12th. He only has 3 turnovers on the whole goddamn season.
Wow.
And so he's averaging 17 points, 8 rebounds, couple like an assist and a little bit of some steals.
All right. So what's your solution with Otto Porter? Are you selling high?
Honestly, I think Otto Porters are hold unless you can get like fucking just great value. Like I honestly do believe that like this is Otto Porter's breakout year finally.
Okay.
But at the same time, like, I have a hard time seeing a trade. Like, okay, I guess he was ranked, kind of high as it was, like 60 in the preseason.
All right.
But yeah, no, I'm holding on Porter. I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about him just because he just did so goddamn good last night for me.
Right. And you're excited.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, maybe I can try to again, but at the same time, I don't think you're going to get a value on either end, either trading him or buying or selling.
Well, that's how you get trades done. Is it has to make sense for both sides. And if there's no deal, there's no deal. Yeah. So Otto Porter, I mean, if you could pick up something pretty nuts, just something you trust more, similarly valued at this point in the season. Somebody's excited about Otto Porter like Ryan. That's a good guy to maybe trade. Like who would you give up to go for Otto Porter if you were going after Otto Porter?
Clay.
Okay, like a Clay, maybe
I mean Clay, that's that little bit of the buy low, sell high, but a little bit reverse.
Okay.
But I think Clay, even Teague, there's kind of some players we've talked about, but I mean, Dieng, Adams, if it was a center, I don't know. I mean, I would give up somebody in that like 3rd or 4th round value for him.
All right. I can live with that. I was looking similarly ranked players here. There's maybe like a Draymond Green, George Hill, just depending on, I guess.
Well, George Hill was who I was just going to say is like probably the top
Sell
sell
high.
high candidate.
Yeah, I would say so too.
I mean, again, I don't think you're going to be able to fleece someone in the Addicts League to overpay for George Hill, but maybe in like public leagues and shit like that, you might be able to get some good value there.
Well, he's just nice 3-and-D and like just great percentages. He's a very efficient player. I like George Hill. Actually, I don't know. I could see George Hill being a fit for my teams now that I'm looking at it. I mean, not tons of assists, but some steals, decent threes, right?
Yeah.
Percentages have always been spot on. He's always been threes and steals and good percentages. If anything, maybe he's going to be scoring more with Utah than he ever did in Indiana. I mean, George Hill was never a massive, scoring guy. But you used to have a fair amount of George Hill on your teams, right?
I did.
Okay. I could see maybe making a trade for George Hill in one of our leagues. I mean, his stat line's very complimentary to a lot of my, team builds.
All right, there you go. Trade George Hill to Tom.
Woo! George Hill. Woo! Well, I'm also, I mean, I don't know. All right, I got one more just because I'm looking at my team as a second here I was thinking about George Hill trades. One player that I've got that I think you could probably buy low right now is Jonas Valanciunas. I mean, unless somebody like me was in your league who reached for him. I mean, I reached probably maybe even a round earlier than I need to in a lot of time. Just I'm a big Jonas Valanciunas fan, and I kind of pegged this as like a big, breakout sort of year. Looked good the first few games. He's been dinged up, I think, the last 4 or 5 for Toronto. But I do expect that he'll be back. He does miss some time. He's kind of one of those little like, dings and dents kind of injury players, like where he'll miss time, but it's like dents and dings. Still very young, but I do think Jonas Valanciunas, a lot of people don't really have that much value for, like, you know what I mean? I think he's not a household name. Nobody's like, fuck you.
Not a sexy pick.
Yeah, like nobody's like, fuck you. That's Jonas Valanciunas. Get away from, like nobody's gonna like spit in your face for offering him or offering a trade to him. Like, so I think Jonas Valanciunas like is a great, like if you need a center, a big, for some decent percentages and blocks and rebounds. I think Jonas Valanciunas is a good try to buy low.
Yeah, J Money just mentioned Drew Holiday. He's going to be back in a week or two. I mean, that's the whole.
Is that confirmed? Do we have a confirmation on that? His wife's doing better. That's great news.
Absolutely. So now would be the time to try to trade for him, and then yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to decide what's up with Will Barton. I just need him to he's got that terrible ankle sprain. I just need him back. I mean, I don't know that as much as there's a lot of like options in Denver, I don't think that there's anybody that's actually better than him. Like, I mean, they want to play some of these younger players.
I think there's too many options, really.
No, but he still is their most consistent. He really, like, I think Will Barton's a very overlooked player. And I'm not dropping him yet. I know I've got him stashed in my injury spot. But ooh. All right, sell high. What do you think about Dwayne Wade?
Dwayne Wade's definitely a sell high.
What could you get for Dwayne Wade in a redraft league?
I mean, you should be able to get something pretty good.
Well, that's not useful to people out there. Name some, like if you had Dwayne Wade and say you had too many guards and you had like good points and stuff, you didn't really need like, a combo guard. What would you probably be targeting? Another center, like name some players, like a Dirk maybe, or Kevin Love. I mean, I don't know. Love might be a bit of a stretch, but
yeah, I mean, I'd be again looking for like players more like Nurkic, maybe Ibaka,
right.
Going for that kind of route where like maybe a player, that someone's not happy about. Like you're kind of in the middle between the buy low or sell high. You can try to buy low on a player with Dwayne Wade. Maybe Clay, Ibaka is just the players we were mentioning earlier.
All right.
Again, I think Dwayne Wade, you might be able to get some value. I think Flash still has some fans out there.
I mean, he's not a bad option, especially for redraft. He's not sexy because he's old, but I think so many of us are biased by our dynasty teams in terms of age.
Right.
And so we're just like, well, he's old, but that, even if he's old, that doesn't mean he can't hurt or help your team, rather. I didn't mean hurt your team. But that doesn't mean he can't help your team, because if he's healthy and he's not missing time.
There's a lot of Bull fans out there too.
Right. So, Dwayne Wade.
So again, if someone's a Bulls fan, that's also a trade tip. Like, try to play against people's biases. If they got like a logo or team name that's like team specific,
go after it.
Yeah.
All right, one more player I want to throw out there. This guy was a waiver wire pickup, but he's been pretty goddamn spectacular so far this season. And by spectacular, I mean at least performing for what you get off the waiver wire.
Right.
Trevor Booker, power forward for the Nets, pretty much going to be mainstay going forward. Roughly averaging like 9 and 9 with a few assists, decent percentages, lots of steals, and an okay amount of blocks. Not tons of blocks, but great steals numbers.
Okay.
Now, would you try to sell him, or are you holding him if you've got him?
I'd hold. I mean, honestly, I think for the most part, any player you pick up off of the waiver wire is a hold.
Well, I mean, unless you can get something for him you need. I mean, go for
of course.
Guard. But I don't know. I mean, those steals numbers, his steals numbers are pretty goddamn near elite. I mean, that's something on its own. I mean, that's pretty spectacular. I mean, they're not.
I'm just making the generalization that, like, I think. I just think that players you get off of the wire are hold candidates and not trades. Like, you're happy that you got them.
All right, fair enough.
Now, one guy I want to talk about is Embiid. I mean, obviously, if you listen to this podcast and I've been tooting the Embiid horn for fucking ever.
Right, yeah.
Or for all season anyways, like reaching for him, like got a ton of Embiid.
Joel Embiid, yes, that's correct. You do.
And I think he is, Dynasty, yeah, he's one of those untouchables. We touched on that. But redraft leagues, I think he's the perfect sell high where you're actually going to be able to get something fucking solid out of him.
All right.
And that might be kind of contrary to what you think I would be saying, just based on how big of a fan of Embiid I've been. But he's exceeded even the highest fucking expectations you could have put on him.
Not me, but you, I guess. I'm a huge Embiid fan, but so you're saying, trade away.
I'm just saying the hype on Embiid is so fucking great right now that you should be able to get a fucking great value out of him, like CJ McCollum value.
All right.
And I think if you can do something like that, you do it, just because, again, there is still that health risk, and 76ers just like sitting him like, oh, play great, you're into the fucking championship, and then Embiid never plays again because 76ers are trying to get a fucking better draft pick.
Why would they do that, though? Why would they stymie his development? I mean, honestly, I see his minutes going up. That's bogus.
To get another fucking great draft pick, like.
Yeah, but I don't know how you stymie his development, because
again, it's not, because again, he'll be better with better players around him next year.
He's learning so much. Honestly, I don't know how you do that. I don't know. Maybe you play him fewer minutes, but I don't know how you just bench him. I don't see him doing any less than he is now.
I'm not saying they will, but again, I'm just saying that what you can get for him, like it's the whole like ceiling and floor, and I just feel that like Embiid's floor is like in the basement, sitting on the bench.
All right.
And yes, his ceiling is fucking Hakeem Olajuwon fucking 2.0.
I'm just I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm more optimistic about his playing time than you are. I mean, I'm
my point exactly. You're gonna be able to get good shit for him.
well, I still don't know how much I don't know how well, I mean, how much do you think people will pay for him? That's the question, I guess.
I mean, again, like McCollum, Depot. I mean, maybe not quite McCollum, but like third round value. DeMar DeRozan,
Right.
Miles Turner. I mean, again, I wouldn't trade him unless I got the fucking moon for him, but I just think he's a player that you can ask and get the moon for.
Okay. Even in redraft, with as much
even
as
in
you know.
redraft.
All right, because you're saying you can get the moon, but I think you're also saying you're worried he's not going to get minutes. I think most people probably have that same knowledge, you know. So that's why I'm holding him, and I'm thinking, well, his value's going to go up. That's just me, though. I'm optimistic. I'm a cool guy, you know. I'm looking at the glass more than half full with Embiid.
All right. Well, I think
That's me.
this was a good podcast. We got any last minute questions? We're rolling on the hour 30 plus mark.
Okay, yeah. I guess you're ready to shut it down. No more buy low, sell high. Anything else jumping out at you?
Just good luck making trades, and feel free to go by the website and, you know, talk to addicts there. Leave a fucking post in the message board for them. Leave
Definitely.
a comment on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, if you have any questions about trades you're looking at, if you think you should do it or
And
not, feedback.
again,
hit us up on Twitter.
if we don't necessarily answer your question on YouTube, we might do it in our podcast. You know, we got our Q&A sessions back going.
That's what I was trying to drum up. If you got questions, hit us up on Twitter at letter F, letter S, or double letter A, F, S, double A. That's the best way to reach us. Or again, YouTube comments. We'll always do our best to answer, right?
Right.
Since we're winding down, I don't think we have too many YouTube comments. Do we have anything you need to address, or?
No, I'm good. You?
I feel good. I think we answered a few trade questions. I gotta go. I'm looking here. I gotta go make some trades now.
Yeah,
I might be rethinking my Eric Bledsoe. I might consider a move for Eric Bledsoe, depending on how much I have to pay to get him.
You were just talking about not wanting him.
Well, that's why I said I was reconsidering. Did you hear that?
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Well, I know. I just thought it was funny.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. No, I'm just sort of reconsidering it. I mean, the numbers are very nice. I don't know how much I trust it, but like for reasonable value, I could consider it.
Okay.
You know, I could see that. I'll think about it. I don't know. George Hill's a little more enticing, but I've got very specific teams, so we'll see. But yeah, anyways, you want to do the Serenity Prayer? Shut her down?
Sure thing, Tom. Fantasy gods.
Fantasy gods.
Please grant me the serenity to set my ideal lineups.
Mm-hmm.
And the courage to add drop aggressively.
Yeah.
And the wisdom,
As always.
to make good trades.
Amen. All right.
Amen.
Come by the website if you want to get into some mid-season mock drafts or some late-season drafts. I still have a team slot or two open. Might do a mid-season draft myself. I don't know.
I got one.
All right. Yeah, if you want to get into a mid-season draft, we could always do that, fantasysportsaddicts.com. Or if you're interested in Andrew and Fantasy Aid, you want to do their baseball, early, way too early draft, early mock draft, come by the website, sign up for that. That'll be good, fantasysportsaddicts.com. And again, questions, comments, complaints, direct them to Twitter at letter F, letter S, word double letter A, FSAA. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, thumbs up, donate, all that yummy, yummy stuff. And yeah, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. Thank you for your service. See you guys next time. Ryan, anything else? Anything else?
No, we're good.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Woo!